good. You good. All right, cool. All right, everybody. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. And I have the brother Kellen Cash on with us this evening. And tonight's topic is Damon Dash versus Lee Daniels in addressing the lack of honor in Black business. The stereotype is that Black people can't do business amongst each other. We don't respect each other when it comes to doing business. We have this whole idea and stereotypic concept that pretty much the white man's ice is colder. We hold ourselves to a different standard than we do, I would say, non-Blacks when it comes to doing business. Case in point, Kellen, if you have a restaurant or a gas station and I don't know, you make a simple mistake, Black people will come after you, right? But if you go to the Chinese restaurants, the Indian and Arab-owned gas stations, they're completely filthy. But Black people won't call that out. So I mean, let's just tackle this. So Damon Dash lent Lee Daniels $2 million. Now, Kellen, you're in the business arena, you're an entrepreneur. It is hard for a brother to go to a bank and get $2 million. But this Black man lent Lee Daniel $2 million. It has not paid what he owes. Paid up. Has not paid what he owes.
Yeah.
So Damon, and Damon's been talking about this for a minute now. This issue in regards to how Lee Daniels pretty much took $2 million from him and has been ducking and dodging them and has not paid him back. It was crazy, Kellen. Then Black people will get on Vlad TV and cry how this Jewish director screwed us, how this white person screwed us, how this Asian person screwed us. But then when you have good brothers like Damon Dash who will lend you $2 million, we don't pay him back. What's the issue, Kellen?
I think the issue is when you align yourselves with suckers. Not to be a chatty patty as Dame Dash is. That's the elder, right? So everything he said, I know I listened to. And you can get some good clickbait by just putting a Dame Dash quote or a clip of his video or, put a caption. So I listen because people really don't understand how he's made so many people millionaires. The issue with him and Lee Daniels, we know brothers, and I know people that owe me 25 cents from 86, so I know that 2 million is like, when am I going to get my money? Especially when I see you winning. I'm just so proud that the elder didn't put hands on him, didn't send the goons to him. Nothing has happened to Lee Daniels. Not just because it shows maturity and how we can go about things the right way, but we all know some suckers. We all, if you're doing any type of real business, have been burnt by business. And it's difficult to do business within the community because people always tell you inside the community, oh, do it for the culture, do it for this, do it for the nonprofit, do it for this, where that doesn't really benefit me in the short run. Now, in the long run, community wise, it benefits me because my daughters will have to pick one of these, young men to date and marry in the future, in the long future. But when we align ourselves with people who are not honorable, the best thing Dame can do is sue them, and suing takes a while. If Dame was really a shark, he's not a shark. If he was really a shark, he'd own Lee Daniels for lending that money. He'd say, he would have put in paper, everything you do in the future is mine, like they do many of these artists, especially on the 360 deals that most of the audience may be familiar with. But this thing goes so deeper where, it was about 5 years ago, maybe 6, that Kurt Franklin talked about he was ripped off for all these years, stomping everything. He wasn't getting the majority of that money. I was there
Wow.
at the conference. It was during South by Southwest, and they talked about that, man. So he was getting ripped off for 10, 15 years because somebody did him dirty. Where you have someone like Dame, and I do business like Dame. You're as good as your word. We do that because starting in the music and entertainment business behind the scenes, you didn't I mean, people were going to rob, but there were ways of getting your money back that, that everybody settled out of court. And that was the way everyone knew how to get it, especially if you were young. You get these people to settle out of court all day. Now, y'all catch the lingo, because I'm not going to do a whole lesson on that. I don't need any old stuff popping up or anything, but I know some guys who know some guys who you don't grab their money, they grab you. And that we'll just put it like that, right? So I think Dame, beautiful how it's all set up. Now, if we want to talk about doing businesses within the community, I think a lot of the people who talk about that, especially government wise, and people who are like on the ground roots, a lot of them start with a very pure heart. But there's something about power and money that will corrupt everybody, almost everybody. If you are into gathering things, if you have a love for money, this is why I love the Holy Scriptures. No matter what people believe in, you can read certain books, whether it be the Holy Scriptures, it doesn't matter whatever version hits you. People read the Quran and things hit them, but it lets you put your life in order so you don't have to lean on your own understanding. And so when people rip you off, go about it the right way, because there's too many cameras nowadays. There's too many snitches. You can't do anything without someone saying he threatened him 15 years ago, and now you got a terroristic threatening charge. So be cool. It doesn't make you a sucker to be free. But I think the way we can do business in the community is, if you're going to hire somebody, pay them up front, and then have some collateral of some sort. If you're going to loan somebody something, Lee Daniels didn't have $2 million of collateral, but he would have got signed to the most vicious deal. And Dame, being the person he is, could have ripped it up right after he got his money back. But we have to have our contracts ironclad. And we don't know what contract he had with Lee Daniels. The Hasidic Jews still do business with a handshake.
Right.
For people who don't know, those are the Jews with the big beards and the top big hats, whatnot, because your word is everything. And in the street, if anybody, and I don't mean you have to be in the street, doing anything illegal, but just being present in the street, you had to have a certain type of respect just to survive the 80s, when crack was rampant. You could have been a square with a book, but you had to carry yourself a certain way. This like I know this. I've gone and you've gone to so many places and not had problems. It's the way you carry yourself. You're not over there flashing, $50,000 like some rainbow rapper and throwing it up like that's something. That ain't nothing unless you can feed the people and show them how to fish. So, I've gone to Soweto, and with the cameras, when they said you can get killed for that, I said, man, everybody has an expiration date. You got to be comfortable whenever yours is chosen. But I'm going out there to tell a story. I'm not going out there to shine and stunt. And this was before, big social media. MySpace maybe was around. Yeah, MySpace was around for sure. But we can do business with each other, but you need to have the cash on hand. Any promoters in the room, say a wave. Promoters know that you need to have your bread up front, because so many promoters play a Jay-Z, a Kurt Franklin, and once they come to their event, they're like, oh, we don't have the money yet, just wait till the end of the night. At my company, we don't do that. If you don't have the money, we have to be paid 50%, but the day of, we need the other 50% before we even show up. Because if you show up, now you look bootleg to the you look bootleg to the audience, like you're here but you won't perform, and the audience doesn't get it because they think you're already rich. I've seen many a big artist be embarrassed like that. But I said we do business with each other, be honorable, and understand some people won't take it to court. They're gonna settle out of court, and your family is more important than anything in this life.
So let me ask you: do you think Dame Dash handled it the right way, as far as
Definitely.
recording it and?
Definitely handled the right way, because the only other way is to send the goons out. And even if the goons do what goons do, you then have goons who say, man, I should be Damon Dash. Let me write a book and tell on myself. And it's happened many a times. I've volunteered in the prison system. I've worked with different entities where, you know, we've been active, boots on the ground, work with the people who are actually committing the crimes, whatnot, and trying to show them another way. And the goons want to write books. I've had many bodyguards come up to me during award shows and like, hey, here, you know, here's my card. Can you put us on? You know, we want to write a book, whatnot. And so he definitely handled the right way. Crime is dead. You know what I mean? Like I remember the last time somebody even tempted to try to get physical, and they didn't want no real issue, but you have to know how to defuse a situation. And I think that's the difference between the boys and the man. But anybody who studied any type of boxing or martial arts, no, you can knock somebody out. You can chokehold the best of them. So what do you have to prove? You know, and real fighters like to fight with folks who like to fight. So he definitely handled the right way. Dame is like what, 49, almost
47.
50, 47, almost 50. What does it look like for one of our elders, for one of our bosses to beat up Lee Daniels, who has a whole movement behind him, who's going to claim that it was a hate crime at the end?
Right. Yeah. Move. Yeah. Code. Move.
You feel me?
Movement.
Yeah. It's just like
Rainbow movement.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Just fall back, be cool, and let the courts and the lawyers do what they do and get their expensive paycheck. See, this whole thing about business is people say, oh, we need more police, we need less police. All of this is the way the capitalists want it to run. So you need the lawyers. So if you get $1 million, yeah, they take 400,000 from you. But then you got to pay your lawyers because everybody is suing you. So now you got less than, you know, the 600,000 even. Then you got family to take care of, which you got to take care of. People don't look at the big business. And the problem with small businesses, they don't know where to go get the money because there's plenty of money available, but you got to be ready. And you have to be able to put your first money into investing in you. And if you then have to go, I talk about this on my channel, on my YouTube, Kellen Cash. I talk about it, you know, where to find money. And I give you snippets because you can't go through the whole course. I sell this information too in consulting. And this is what my clients get. But we show you how to get that money. But first put up the time investment. Then if you can't get it and you don't know where the money is, you come to someone like me who put you in a circle of people who can help you get the money. Nothing is guaranteed, especially if you have a bad idea. But you now learn. This is over 20 years of information that you're getting from me. I know I don't look it, but you can check the resume and go to the LinkedIn and see the recommendations on different things and say, okay, this guy may know what he's talking about. And that's cool. You said something, though, very key, that the other folks' ice is always colder than us. I've seen black organizations, so-called black organizations, hire other people, pay them, right? And then have the same people, and I've been some of those people before, and they would not think of paying me, right? Or anybody else in the group that they hire, but they'll hire someone else, you know, who looks different than them.
Right.
You know what? Opposites attract, and it's the same way where entertainers, even the ones who talk pro-black, go look at their IMBD Pro account. Go get the pro account, spend a little money if you ever want to, you know, get into entertainment and see who represents them. 90% of those folks are represented by somebody who does not look like them. You know, it's a Caucasian person 8 out of 10 times, if not 9 out of 10 times. Therefore, and This is proven from anybody who's in public relations, marketing, advertising, but especially public relations. When we do a pitch for a show, or we want someone to come on a black show, they'll have someone who doesn't look like them, and they'll say, no, that doesn't really fit the image. Notice some of the people that are out there will go on a non-black network to push a black agenda and won't come to the black media, but they want your money.
Wow.
You feel me? Look at that. You know what I mean? Like, how do they go on the whitest of white, or the Asian or Asian, or whatever shows, and they won't come do black media, but they say they're for black people? The same thing happens in many local governments, whatnot. And we have to know who to support and who not to support. If you ain't doing black media, we ain't rocking with you. And I don't mean just the big people that they knew of back in the day, like Roland Martin. They got to come to Search for Uru. They got to come to the Advise show. They got to come to the Lovely T show. They got to come to the Boyce Watkins and everybody else, Tariq. They got to come to the Kellen Cash and CNA to MD show if you want to get that money, because we showing folks how to get six figures over there, and that is a commercial, Dynast. I just want to let you know.
Brother, yeah. You know, for everything you've done for me, you don't have to be shamed. You don't have to feel shamed at all to pub whatever you need to pub. You have the platform to do whatever you need to. It's all good.
Oh, appreciate it. And there's no shame. I think that came out of my body. Like, I didn't get that. Kind of like Trump, where he can say what he wants to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that, because I've always kind of done things. I'm the Black Frank Sinatra, I tell him.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. I don't need any disclaimer. You are all good with me.
Yes. Okay. Good.
All right, cool. So let me ask you another question. You just mentioned, as far as I guess, black people being the face of a certain industry or business, but everybody else in the back, in behind the scenes, or everybody else that they hire is white. How should black people take that?
They should take it as, do some research and see why, after you're drafted in the NFL, they bring you to a private room. Why, when you're drafted into any sports league, they shun the black agents so often. And to be an agent, you need to be a lawyer, right? So that we have a lot of black lawyers, but there's a lot of people who are good at making deals who aren't, super with the paper educated. And I want to say with the paper, because I got a whole nother spill on education. I mean, I did the whole bachelor's, master's, whatever, but there's some people who are just naturally gifted at what they do, and they don't need that paper. But if I love LeBron James, even though I'm a Warrior fan in the blood, right? I'm a Raider fan. I'm pretty much born into that in so many levels. But I love LeBron James for showing and showcasing his team, his posse, as they one time said it, right? Because his whole team looks like him. Now, there are times that I know it's difficult to find some of us in certain fields, but if you do a little bit of looking, you should be able to find it. Now,
exactly.
There's a difference between, because I've even, my wife said, how many businesses are we going to open? And I'm like, okay, we're going to open as many as we can handle and have people manage. There are times, and I've seen this with many entrepreneurs and struggle with it myself, that you do have black folks who are great at what their job, but you're not going to work well with them. Sometimes that's because of a system thing. I know I've told black companies, I want to work with you, but I need you to use this software, and that software, and they're still on a Hotmail account. Great at what they do, probably, but I need you to be a little more sophisticated. We're on a private server over here, and I need you to do some other things with some different software where you can only get this from the server. So we should all try to hire our own, because that's what every culture does.
Right.
And people will say, well, then you want others to hire you. Others have to hire me. There's some things that we do that only, I would say, really, realistically, a handful, maybe 2 handful of companies do.
Brother, unpackage that some more. Okay, so you want I guess you want to see black businesses hiring black people, black people circulating their money within the black community. But at the same time, people will criticize you and say, okay, if you want that, why should white corporations hire black people?
Well, white corporations and like I say, skill set is a very big thing. White corporations and government, we have a dealings with RFPs, which are government contracts, in short. They always talk about diversity, how they need it. Corporations, diversity. We are the diversity. So I know black owners who put white faces in front of their business and then only hire white people. I know that real clear here in Seattle. There's a couple I can name in an organization that I'm a part of. They do that real quick. And then they're the first ones to say, hire us because we're a minority. Can't tell. You're a minority because you started it. So to unpackage that, somebody may say that's unfair, but white companies want to hire. So they say diversity. So for the few that get it right, thumbs up, right? But we also since we're pushing diversity and saying you need to hire us because we're diverse, that means we have to hire diverse, or we have to hire our own. We are diversity. You know what I mean? It starts with us. Charity starts at home. So we should hire each other because we can teach each other. And I think of it as a full family, where if I have a cousin who can do something, why am I going outside anywhere? You know what I mean?
Right.
I got two cousins who just came home. If they want jobs and they want to do it the way I need them to do it, they got a job. Now, I've had cousins who tell me, I'm not trying to work with you, which I can understand because I have a different process. And some of the people I work with, you may not want to work with. It's okay. But, we should hire our own. What do we look like talking about let's build up the community and we hire everybody else? We focus a lot on web design and graphics and coding. All the time, I feel like we're trying to prove ourselves like we know what we're talking about. We have to have long conversations to let people know our people can handle this work, because they're quick to hire the Asians. And I'll be honest with you, some of those Asians work real cheap and real hard. So sometimes we're quick to hire them too, because it goes bigger than race. It goes into business of what will it cost me to get this done? And can I get this $20,000 quick project and actually make money off of it, hiring anybody in the States? The way that we've kind of gone around that is hire young people and give them a chance because somebody gave me a chance.
Let's see here. Now, Lee Daniels said he was a proud sellout. Now, what are the dangers of? And I'm not saying that Damon Dash didn't do his I would say a thorough background check on Lee Daniels, but Lee Daniels has I would say revealed a lot about himself in these past couple of years. Number one, he called himself a proud sellout. Him in the Monique situation, Monique called him out. I mean, how important is it for someone to do a full and thorough background check on somebody before you even decide to lend them a substantial amount of money?
Well, I'll tell you this. Doing a background check and then showing somebody how far you'll take it is a different thing, because people's backgrounds come back clear all the time, even their street cred and what they may have done, and who knows what the relationship is, right? It's not just the background, because you're talking $2 million. It's hard for those who believe in giving, and I'll just break it down to tithing. It's hard for people who say they are Christian or believers or servants of God or servers or whatever they're servants of to even give to those things they say their foundation is built on. See, to me, all that is just titles and whatnot. And the essence and the discernment is really in you. Either you got it or you're working on it or you're running from it. So that all the money that you get, no matter how much you get, will never be enough. So why not give some back? You know what I mean? And so again, go back to the scriptures, that's just telling you to give a small piece. Some people, though, when they make, their $1,000, they say, oh, it's cool. I'll tithe on that. No problem, 100. But why don't you try to make $8,000 in just one check? And be like, I'm gonna give that to the, to the mosque, to the church, to the whatnot. They ain't gonna do that. And it's such a small portion. But those people are also going to be capped. So the background to me is, how do you treat your family? What does your family look like? I really do business with people that I call friends, and we have similar values. Because if you have other values, it's burned me in the past. So every time I'm with somebody who, they don't have to be the same belief that I believe at all, but they at least have to be taking care of their family. If you're a deadbeat, I can't hire you. You feel me? I can't hire a deadbeat. I don't want a deadbeat around me. There have been times where I've tried to build a deadbeat up. I say, hey, but do this with your kid. Go pick them up, this and that. I'm giving you this money. I'm not telling you what to do, but those same people will give you the I know syndrome, which I did a whole video on that too at the Kellen Cash YouTube, because those I know people, run from them. Be out, because they know too much, but they have too little. They have too little knowledge, too little respect for others, too little money, 9 out of 10 times, So that background is really in how they get down. It's nothing wrong if they want to have a sip or two or whatever their vice is. But if they're over there lying to their woman or their man, and they then sleeping with you or whatever the case may be, you don't do business with them. They show they got no respect, because a real man would tell you what it is and what it ain't and what it's going to be.
Somebody in the chat room says, I'm related to Gabby Sabide, and she never helped out her siblings. Her mom still sings for money in the New York City subway. I don't know. Is that Gabby from Precious? I guess.
I guess. I'm looking at the thing.
Okay, do you want to address Lovely T.I.? Because everybody's talking about Lovely T.I. Do you read what they're saying about Lovely?
No, I'm not seeing. It's not coming down. Hold on. What are they saying?
I'll let you read it, because I just don't want to put it out there, because it sounds like a lot of gossip. So
okay. Oh no, they gossip. Let them talk. No, we don't even have to address that. Over 580,000 subscribers. That addresses that.
Exactly. So moving forward.
yeah. That addresses that. And since you brought it up, we'll just put in how that lovely tea, her literal tea, sold out in less than 24 hours. So
yeah, tea.
She has tea. I try to put it in the chat room. YouTube is a hater, but it's lovely tea, TEA.
I'm trying to see. The thing is, I'm trying to figure out. I have to. Okay, do this. Post something in the chat room, Kellen, and then I'll make you a moderator. And then once I make you a moderator, here we go. I'm gonna make you a mod. Once I make you a mod, you can post a link to it. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Add moderator. All right, so you're a moderator now. Once your blue wrench comes up, then you can post it. You can post the link to her tea.
Okay, cool.
Got it right there, man. You good to go.
Yeah, just y'all get that tea, since y'all wanna talk about what it is and what it isn't. Get that tea, whatnot. We don't even address nonsense for the haters, because the haters get drowned out by success.
Right.
The haters are gonna just keep hating and hating, But yeah, that's that. If they want to really say something, they'll go on our Patreon and they can talk to her directly.
Hey, Amber Cameron, if you cannot provide any facts, okay, please stop slandering the sister. All right, I'm gonna boot you out the chat, Amber.
And that's the problem. Like you had said earlier in the thing, the black restaurant, it may take a minute at some of them, right, to get the food, or maybe they're not open on a certain day, which a lot of small restaurants aren't open on Mondays, right? But we're so unforgiving for our people. And I tell people, and you know this better than most, when you go even to an African spot, chill out. Just enjoy the ambiance, the conversation. you're gonna have with the pretty hostess, 7 out of 10 times. Have a have a sip of something cool and relaxing, whatever relaxes you, and just kick back and enjoy your conversation. Even if you're alone, you enjoy the football game that they have. Don't be so quick to just get in and get out, especially if you're traveling to an African country or a Caribbean country or a South American country. The soul food place, enjoy the essence, learn the people's first name.
Right.
Get the history of it. Don't just be like a colonizer and just, oh, that food was good, and then Yelp it, and that was good. Have a backstory. I've had such good backstories before. I've had people's sons jealous of me, talking about, you took a picture with my mom and you know her whole history. And I'm like, man, your mama is, she's a cool people's. And they get mad because you actually got the backstory, but he thought I wanted to get with his mom, and I would have had to send him to Dynast. I don't play that.
Oh God. Real quick. Are you familiar with Akon's new project, Akon, the cryptocurrency?
I'm loving that, and I can't wait for.
So let me ask you this. So this is my next question. Whole team. Okay, so Akon is very big on Africa for the Africans, right?
Mm-hmm.
His whole team is white.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'll say this: Akon's whole team isn't white. The team that people know of are, because one of my team members, who's like a brother to me, is on that team.
Oh, for the Akon?
Well, not for the Akon.
I'm talking about the Akon.
Yeah. Okay. For the Akon. Okay. Again, that was the point where we say we try to find people who have a certain skill set, who can do things. Now, Akon does not know everybody in the world, right? But the people that you do know who can get this crypto thing in crypto-like servers is a very, you either know your stuff or you don't. But when I started working for Synology, which is one of the best known private servers, and we took on that project and whatnot, I was the blackest thing except one girl they kept in the basement, who was more on she was kind of on the tech sales customer support side. I was their only PR person. So they found one black person who could talk about servers, and there's not a lot. I've never met another who can talk about it. Now there are some, but they don't work in that field. The people who you have to find a certain skill set. So not to make an excuse, because I don't know how Akon, found these people. Sometimes though, it's hard to find black talent in select fields. You can find it. And I just say that because for when we write curriculums for healthcare, I got nurses, I have doctors. I try to get all the black and brown doctors I can and nurses I can. Sometimes it's not worth their time. Sometimes they're so stressed out. So Akon found who he could find and afford. So let's just see how that goes, because I can't make an excuse for the brother. I would have loved to put a black face, and I don't know, you must have saw a picture of that online, but I know this, his checks don't come late, and he's a man of his word, and that's a personal thing. You guys check out the labmg.com, and I can say negative things about some of the most prolific black leaders that I won't, that you guys know that are still around that don't pay their bills, but Akon pays his bills. So I don't know about that situation, but I'm excited. So go to the Lab MG. Oh, I can do it now in the thing.
Go ahead, put it in the chat. No problem.
If you guys need beats or something, this is black owned, and Rich has worked with Akon. That's Rich Boy's work with Trill Entertainment. Everyone.
What's the site, Kellen?
The labmg.com. I put it in there. It took it.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Yeah. So it's I don't, what this is going to be I'm probably gonna get some of his Bitcoin or his Akon just to support, because investments, you know, you and I were talking about different investments that are coming and being targeted towards the Black community.
Mhm.
Investments really have no color line. And when I say that, if you look at gentrification, when they were buying up the hood, they weren't buying it up because it was Black. They were buying it up because it was cheap and they knew that they could move poor people out,
Right.
whether they be Black, poor, Hispanic, white. They don't care. See, money really doesn't care what you look like. Money is I don't want to say it's like Jesus because that'd be blasphemy, but you know, there's really no respecter of persons. They'll take your money because it's there. So I want to see what Akon, what the benefits, the pros and the cons. But you know, crypto is really for the criminals. That's how it started. And I always say that every chance I get, because people have to understand, just like the wine and the whiskey that they may drink and the different things, you know, criminals really got rich off this. Families got rich off this. So you know, I'm always looking for the next IBM, Apple type stock or investment. And I might get a little bit of Acorn and see what it does. I'm not going to put my whole hat into it, you know, because I want to be liquid. But why not grab some Acorn? Because this may be the way we buy music in the future, because it's a rapper doing it that we know, who's brought electricity to countries. You can't criticize a man who's done that. Forget who you think is behind his team. He's brought electricity to companies, and he'd love to do it to more countries, but countries have their issues. And Africa is hard. You know how hard it is to, you know, do certain business in Africa.
Which brings me to the shout out to Brother Bagger for the super chat. That's it. It's the echo.
Yeah, keep super chatting. You want Dynas to go to all these places? Keep super chatting.
Yeah, somebody emailed me today, said, Dynas, when you go back to Africa? I said, August. He said, we need more footage. I said, okay, well, donate, and I could go back to Africa more.
Yeah. You know, and I'll say this about you, just so the audience knows. This man is not, you know, people always want to try to talk about and discredit people from where they're at. And they're going to always do that. But this man is not taking all your money from Patreon, all your money from YouTube, and going and spending it on a Bentley, spending it on a mini mansion. He's shown you that his house he already has. So you should really support if you're on here. And if you can't support financially and you say in time,
yeah, all I ask, if you can't support financially, just like, share, subscribe, share it with your family, share it with your friends. That's all I ask for.
Yeah, and book him for, you know, a local event. You know, say we can get your ticket. You know, Southwest has a sale right now. He's out of Atlanta, one of the biggest airports out there.
The world.
Yeah, so support like that, because you know, I get it, you know, and you don't, when you do support, don't expect the world, because for a lot of the YouTubers and people support and people start giving, they expect you to be a puppet. But you know, you're viewing, that's great support, but do anything that you can to support the movement, because he's still working a job, and when he quits, that's because your support is going to show that you want to see more content. And I personally want to see, I got a deal for Dynas, man, when he's done with this documentary. Y'all need to push him to do that, because Netflix
it's going down.
Yeah,
it's going down. Shout out to Bell Bagay. Dynas, did Africa want to invest with Akon? He previously said only China was willing to join with him for solar lighting for Africa. So that was a statement. And then let's see here. We have another super chat. Victor Mobley too. Shout out to him. Good, keep up the good work. I appreciate it, brother. I really do. It means a lot. Now, Kellen Cash, can you go more into the Kirk Franklin situation? Now, was he screwed over by Black people or people outside the culture?
You know, the nitty gritty of it is the record business, which is full of goons, and you had to have goons to
Even
survive.
even in gospel music.
Even in gospel music. Oh man, when I went over into the gospel realm to do PR, I was seeing some of the same people that were, you know, in the secular, and some of them didn't even pretend. And some of the gospel stories that you hear, you have the same adultery, fornication from some of the, you know, your people that you respect, and that, you know, I won't speak on names because everyone's had their issues, right?
Right.
Um, and I would first I would talk about mine before I talk about someone else. But yeah, I, you know, even in gospel, so record labels were there to screw you, and who knows how many people got fed. You know, it's always the connector. You know, there is a fee in connecting somebody, but I don't know. I haven't seen the paperwork enough to speak on, you know, who. It's like the Lil Wayne situation and how Universal is paying Lil Wayne his money, not Baby directly, as far as we know. Now, I remember one of my first biggest interviews was going to the Cash Money Mansion. And I know how Cash Money gets down. Baby puts on a lot of people. I could say a lot of things about a lot of people, but we just have to think maybe it wasn't Baby to pay him. It could have been Universal that was supposed to pay him that money, but Baby's gagged, pause,
Pause.
in a major way.
Stop the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can go further, but pause. Maybe he's gagged and he can't say anything because Universal, remember, they haven't just given him 100 million. They've done that, you know, a couple times over. So he's gonna be quiet, because just like Drake was quiet when his elder said, "Nah, don't reply. This ain't the time." Universal is Baby's elders. You know, they put them on, and this thing is connected way more than a lot of people know. You didn't watch the Illuminati videos and think you knew something because you don't know what it is to be a traveling man. You know, you don't know what it is to go to these things, and really they got your family on deck. You know, they build you up to break you down in the mainstream. That's why when we get mainstream, they don't like somebody like me who will coach somebody for the long run. They just want you to be reckless and ruthless, spend your money, whatnot, and shut up. And don't have anybody who is conscious, don't have anybody who's righteous around you, because it doesn't fit in that industry.
Let's see what else we have in the chat room. Let's see. The reason why I'm not covering the situation, somebody in the chat room posted, Dynasty, there's not a lot of coverage when it comes to the massacres that's going on in Nigeria. The reason why I'm not covering them is because I'm not educated on what's going on. And I don't know anyone who is. Maybe when I go to Nigeria in August, I'll find somebody that could really articulate in regards to what's going on there. I have a little bit of an idea, but I just don't want to put false information out there, especially when it comes to Nigeria and Africa in general. Let's see what other questions we have.
And look for the questions. But let me say, any conflict that people see in Africa, you need to look at it with a non-colonizer lens. You know, my summer is spent in Cameroon and Ethiopia for this summer coming up. And you can hear all the negative news. Ask yourself, why don't you hear the positive news? Why is our homelessness in Seattle, Washington, in Oakland, in LA double, triple than anything in Africa?
Especially in LA, Skid Row.
You know, so ask yourself why they're covering that and they didn't cover when your cousin got shot at the mall. I'm talking to somebody right now, because I know when mine got shot, they didn't cover it, and he was 13 years old. You know, and I have other people who've been shot, and they didn't cover that either. That's not a story or priority to them. But ask them why they scare you to go to Africa, but they don't scare you to go to Chicago. They don't scare you to go to, you know, Oakland and LA and all these other places, but they want to scare you not to go. And the BET Awards and So many others have gone on radio telling y'all go to Africa. Dynas is he dedicate every day go to Africa. But now the Seahawks, Chris B over there is telling y'all on the Breakfast Club go visit Africa. Okay, and I know you say I don't have the money, but you know you're gonna have the money for that old Audi you're gonna pay for. You're gonna pay cash $2,500. You know, Dynas is giving you a blueprint on how to go, and there's other channels you can check out that live there and tell you we ain't coming back. But ask that question. Don't worry about that issue in Nigeria, because guess what? When you go there, it's 9 out of 10 times none of that's gonna affect you. None of it. You're not going to see it. You're a tourist. The same way when you go to Amsterdam and you go see the women in the things, you know, selling their bodies, whatnot, and you want to get a taste because you're thirsty because you don't know how to talk to women or people, and that's why you're lonely. You know, you're seeing the women in there, you want to buy them. You don't say, oh, is this sex trafficking? And you just buy it for 50 euros. You just get in. And then you bypass the Anne Frank house, which is the most powerful thing that you'll see in the Netherlands. You know, if you want to explore, because you'll see how corrupt man is. We talk about race, but they were doing it to their own skin people and found a way how to bring tribalism, which is what's going on in Africa. It's tribalism. You know, it's a lot of it. So once we get far of the race problem, we're going to have a tribe problem. So you better live the best life you have. And did you find another question while I shut up?
No, it's just a lot of statements. People are just making statements. No, really, no questions. Just a lot of statements. You know, so okay. Here we go, Kellen. Loaning versus giving money. You know, so there's this. You know, people say, "Hey, I don't loan money. I give money. If I can't give it, I don't loan it." And the reason why is because they don't want to be put in a position where someone has to owe them and then they got to collect, or, you know, put a friendship on the line because that person that loaned the money that they loan money to might be a close friend. They didn't pay him back.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because should you carry that logic over into business as well?
I totally agree with that. In business, personal, if I can't afford to lose it, if I can't afford to lose it, I can't afford to give it, is my thing. So all the money that we may, you know, give or loan, I don't loan, because I don't believe that. I don't believe I can't, because you've tried it in the past. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I still remember who owes me 25 cents. I got a great memory. I still remember, I know which cousin owes me my Too Short cassette. I said cassette, you know. I needed that cocktails and the freaky tales in my life back then. I had to go rebuy it, man. And I had to get it on CD. I was young, you know. So I don't want to think about who owes me, because I'm the type to be like, wait, hold on. You owe me money, but you just got your hair did. You owe me money, but now I see you at the club and you buying drinks. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to loan money. So if I can't give it to you, I can't give it to you. And if you're honorable enough to say, you know, I pay my debts, cool. I just don't do that. It helps me in my way. Because, you know, you'll have friends who will be like, hey, our family, and they'll say, hey, can you give me, you know, whatever thousands amount of dollars so I can get this house, and I'll give it back to you next week when we close. Oh, man, I've seen that break up more than friendships. So if I can't risk that money, and it's going to put my family in the danger of not eating or me having to hustle even harder, I can't give it to you. I wish I could, but I was just about to ask you for them goods. So, you know, I can't, you know, I can't do it. It's like when you tipping out there, you know, in Africa. And I don't know, do you tip when you're in Africa?
Well, you know, it's not required, but I do it anyway because I'm programmed to tip.
Yeah, you know, when you tip, like, okay, I'm giving you this. I don't expect any more, any less. And you know, I like to, what are we tipping? Sometimes we're tipping $1, and to them though, that can make the difference between, you know, a couple people eating, you know, getting some good beignet and some aru and some fufu and some jello rice and whatnot, you know. And so yeah, I just give it. And if it's going to hurt you, I see a lot of people who can't afford, especially those on services. They're like, oh, I gave my sister my EBT card and she said she was going to give the money back or something. You know how foolish that sounds? You loaning on EBT? It's not that your heart is that big. It's that your mind isn't working to say, I'm already needing assistance. I can't give assistance. How do you give someone the full card? You got to get yours like a bookie wants his. But you can't be a bookie because crime is dead. So you have to get some type of collateral. Get people's cars and have them sign the title over. Okay, if you don't own this, I'm going to be the repo man. And I need this. Sorry. And that might sound cold, but it's between you and your family eating, and your family has to eat so you can help others eat.
See what else we got in the chat room here. So go ahead and plug yourself, Kellen. What business is the guest in? Go ahead.
What business am I in?
That's the question. Yeah, that's the question.
Oh, I'm in public relations and consulting. And I've done this for over a decade. So we pretty much put things on TV, magazine, et cetera, et cetera. And then, for the YouTubers, we help out with business and booking interviews and whatnot, which is something that just almost comes natural to me and my team. Like, we're on the ground. I work with publicists who like publicists. So we kind of Voltron up. So that's my main business. I also mentioned we have CNA to MD.com for those who need a career change and they want to, find out what money they can make in healthcare, because there are people with CNAs who are making six figures and above. I've actually been, when we were getting heavy into this, mentored by a woman who's making $75,000 a month. And she put, a couple adult family homes side by side. And so with that wisdom, and since we've been able to sit and learn from others who are making money, we can show you how to make some money. Now, that consulting does come with a cost, just like if you were to go to school, just like if you were to go to Dr. Boyce Watkins online and pay for his curriculum. Information costs you money when it's valuable. But we've done this with hundreds of people. So you can even see the CNA, CNATOMD YouTube channel, and you can learn some things for free off that. And I also, I write books, and I'm in a lot of just things that I'm passionate about. But this is one of our books. If you haven't seen that, this is our French edition. It's a proof that just came back. But you can see that cover on, Amazon. And I put books together because I like books. Physical books, they say, are dying. We make digital books too, but I have a publishing company for that, Fomenki Publishing, which is an African-based publishing company. Fomenki. Look up Cameroon, Fomenki, Fomenky. You'll see that there's royalty behind the name. So, but again, I like businesses that I don't necessarily have to babysit, that I can find people to work with, because I'm kind of I'm an unconventional entrepreneur, which is kind of like silly because I think every entrepreneur is. I just don't want to follow what they say you have to follow. We like to find a different way to solve problems, and that's what business really is.
Somebody in the chat room is asking, could you name some of the clients you work with?
We named a couple, and that's all that we kind of needed to name. I mean, we talked about our YouTubers because I just told you CNA to MD. Before we had mentioned about, Lovely Tea. Somebody wanted to give her a shout out, so you can go get some of that awesome loose leaf tea on Amazon. I don't know if we mentioned the Advise show, but, some of our clients, are in fields that it wouldn't even benefit you to know. People say, "Oh, can you name off the biggest people?" And I say, "No. What is it? What is it to if I named off the biggest name in your eyes, and you say, can you get me to that level?" Everybody has their space, so there's no need for me to do that. Then people start pocket watching and try to see what you get paid. I have a scope of work for anybody who wants to know, like, what it would cost. That we just send you a piece of paper. and it has the scope of work of what we do, and you can kind of pick a la carte menu like a restaurant what you want. But we don't do anything to impress, because I see every other publicist doing that, and they say, oh, my client's worth this and this. Check this out. What does it benefit me to grandiose and be like, it's like riding in an Aston Martin and showing you, I got the keys. So what? You ain't got them. So why don't we get and fix your problem? I'm very solution based. So even on that last YouTube we were on together with Phil, it's like, I want to give you a solution. If I can't give you a solution, let me just think a little bit. Let me go into the prayer closet, because it's useless. My opinion is useless to you unless I can help you get out of whatever problem you have. So we don't just give a bunch of fluff being PR, which a lot of people do. But at the same time, it costs money. I don't work for $5 an hour, nor does anybody on my team. And people have to be paid. So, that's that. So you got a couple clients. I hope that helps you. ColemanPRfirm.com or CPRfirm.com is our site. Intentionally, I don't have clients on there at the moment because it would not benefit the clients. And some of the stuff we do in healthcare, it may pop up in, online or whatnot. And then if you see it, you see it, but it doesn't benefit me for you to know healthcare. If you're not in healthcare, what do you care? And then you want to see how big a contract is, to discredit somebody or to credit somebody. So I hope I gave you a little teaser, but you can also go on Kellen Cash YouTube and see in my recommendations, especially for the Christian artists, what they've said about me, which a lot of people have said. When you go on a LinkedIn, or if you can find my Facebook, I really don't communicate too much on people I don't know personally on Facebook, so I'm a little hard to find. That's intentional, just like the website. But you can go on the Instagram and see little blurbs of people giving recommendations. Like me, I'm a middleman. I'm a high-end hybrid middleman who fixes problems, whatever that problem may be. And I got a lot of people who make me look like I know more than I know.
Oh, shout out to Belle Bagay for the super chat again. Thank you for your work, Kellen. That was her statement. Kellen, last question. Contract versus handshakes. I mean, what are your thoughts on that in doing business? Should we do contracts, or should we just shake hands and call it a day?
Oh, I think in America we have to do contracts. We have to. I caught somebody finally in the thing, and they asked, turn towards both. We have to do contracts, especially if you don't know the people. There are clients, honestly, that I don't do contracts with. Maybe it's because of a vibe I got. Maybe because I tell them, and I'm biased because we're paid first. No work gets done until we're paid. So whenever that month starts for them, they want to pay me for the momentum, right? We have people willing to sell their cars at times to pay us. And I say, don't sell your car. Just, put us on hold, whatnot. It's not worth your car.
Right.
Because you need to get around. But sometimes, especially if you live in a city like New York, people will do that stuff and whatnot. Don't sell your house for us. But I think we need contracts. I'm just at a place where the people that I don't do contracts with, or I don't follow up with them, it's because of the understanding, and it's because I can afford to lose them too. It's not going to tilt me down, but sometimes those are some of the best people to work with. They're some of our most highest paying clients where we don't get a contract till the work is done and they get to see it. And it's mainly in, curriculum. It's never in like PR or marketing, but it's in curriculum because we're always pushing out curriculum. If I'm always looking for nurses who can write, doctors who can write. I got work for you, and people say, oh, why do they need to work extra? They can just pick up an extra shift, because sometimes we're two shifts. We'll pay, and sometimes people don't like their work and they want to see how to get into the other side of healthcare. There's so much money in healthcare. And you can have a felony and still be in healthcare. And so, I just put that out for anyone who says I would, but I got that F on my record. Even with the felony, you can still go to Africa. You can still get your passport. You might have to go through some other hoops. But, I would say do the contract just so it's on paper for the majority of your people, especially if you need their money. But, when you do, and this is the sidebar to tell you how good government contracting can be if done right, and it's not easy, that you can pay whatever your whole salary is for you can pay that in one project in a government contract, if you find the right one and you partner with the right people. One contract. Somebody told me one time they were making 40,000, and I said, well, why don't you get into government contracting? And they're like, oh, bro, I gotta make at least $25 an hour or whatnot. I said, dude, this government, I've seen them blow $40,000 on a Twitter account, and you weren't allowed to make one tweet. That wasn't my contract, but if you know how to look at contracts, you're like, wow, they got over. The government wastes money all day. Right. And it wasn't the company's fault that they didn't tweet, as far as I know. But the government puts a stronghold, and you don't do more than what they want you to do. So we were part of the ban the box and $15 minimum wage here in Seattle, and there were things that I wanted to do that we couldn't do, just because the city was like, we're done. Because they didn't really care about banning the box or a $15 minimum wage to our demographic. They had another demographic they wanted to push to, And if I can, on a side note,
go ahead, take your time, bro.
If you have anything against your record, and that $15 or that ban the box, make sure you're not checking that box nationwide, no matter what they say. But there's ways of even overcoming that. But most people, we get stagnant in America, and there's so much opportunity over the border, and I'm talking the border of Africa, that you need to really see what your specialty is and do that. I have a guy out here who created MOOVN. It's an app. He was doing Uber before Uber, and he only got excited again to do it once he saw Uber and Lyft's success. But that brother is in multiple countries now doing moving, and he's from Tanzania, not originally, but he was educated here. So you got to figure out, what are you good at? And how can I sell that online? How can I sell that to the rest of the world and live in a place I can afford? Because so many of our people, we talk about loans, we're living above our means. We're living above our means to the fact that you get mad at Dynas because he's going to see Africa 3 or 4 times this year, and you're going to be talking about, oh, I'm going to get my passport, which is under $200. Again, to the host, the dude, if he was making $10 million, you would see even more trips, and he wouldn't be going to work every day. Right. But the brother is working. So, support him, support his Patreon, and the different, and even, I don't know, are they allowing you to do the YouTube subscribe yet, where people can subscribe to your channel?
Oh, the sponsor, right?
Yeah, the sponsor.
No, not yet. No,
not yet. Okay, yeah, they're slow with a lot of us. I know people with more subscribers than others. YouTube, it's not a perfect system. It's a big machine at Google, but they're slow and whatnot to get that to everybody. But support your Black owned the food. Think outside the box. I'm yet to see a Black vegetarian spot in majority of the cities. I know DC.
Oh, we got a ton out here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know DC has some. Here in Seattle, there's some, but we have to think like we're in big cities. When I travel to these smaller cities, I'm like, wait, I can't get anything healthy. you know, and I'm not a full vegetarian because I'll tear up some links with hot sauce if done the right. Yeah, yeah. But I'm trying. I'll tear up a fish sandwich, whatnot, you know. But we need to see more of that, even if it's a food truck. We need to see more cauliflower wings. And Dynas, I would say to you, if you have a ton in Atlanta, go out on live remote and interview those people so people know, you know. It's free coverage, but you do the first hit is always for free, they say. Then the second one, once they're addicted, oh yeah, you got to come back and pay. You know, we got two for $3, 2 for $5. So, and so yeah, so that's that. Just support us because it's hard. If we all support each other, if you get a big lump sum and you can support 2 or 3 other businesses, man, that business can support 2 or 3 other businesses. That's how we really build this empire. And the money doesn't have to be millions of millions. It can be, look, I got 50,000 for every 5,000, I'm gonna give 2 away. Or I got 50,000 and I'm gonna, you know, I only need to eat, you know, whatever percentage of this, and then I can build another business or hire another business, maybe invest in another emerging business where I merge my skill sets. I'm in flight school right now to learn how to fly the drones to do it legally to get paid, right? Because I can add that as another service, but not just me flying. People can fly under my license. So the game in business is not necessarily for you to do all the work. If I can't have someone else do some of the work, if not all, man, my business is so micro. What am I doing? You know, what am I doing? I'm surviving, I'm living, and that's cool for many. But for most, you want to go to that platform where you can be more beneficial to your community, to your family. So that's that. What are the supporters saying in the chat room? Are they giving more of the money up?
Nah, not yet, but we're gonna go ahead and close. Shout out to Mr. Granger with the save at the last minute. Thank you for the super chat. Ban the box and ATL made me the man I am today.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Keep pushing.
Absolutely. So can I put your email address in the chat room?
You sure can. I'm gonna give you my short email. It's KC, and I think I put it in there earlier. KC.
Yeah, go ahead and put your contact information in the chat room.
Okay. Yeah.
Put it in.
And all the social media that I can be found. Y'all check out Kellen Cash, Instagram, all that good stuff. Twitter, all that. And if it's real business, email. If not, subscribe to the YouTube. And if there's a topic you want me to cover and you don't want to go through the scheduling, maybe I'll do a topic if you pick a good topic. But when people call me now, I have a hotline, and then I have way they can schedule a consultation because life isn't busy. I don't use that word, but it's real active. And so I want to make sure when you do get me, you get my full attention, and I'm giving you the best me, and I'm not running on the gym or, shooting at the range and you hear them pop, 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 pop. Like, that's annoying. And no one likes that at the range either. So, so that's that, but subscribe if you haven't subscribed, people, to search for Uru. The brother's going places.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Kellen, for coming back on, brother. It's always a pleasure. Guys, make sure you go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also on Patreon, search for Uhuru. Also Africa Personified on those same platforms. And make sure you go to search for Uhuru.com, DynasMirror.com, Africa Personified.Africa. And also go to Amazon.com, search your name, Dynasty Mirror. Please buy a book, everybody. Till next time, family. Peace.
Peace.